Hi guys, it's Becky, and I want to make some stretch bracelets using the stretch cord that came in the November Potomac Beads Best Bead Box. This is the Treasure Edition, and so I'm going to be using the stretch cord. I'm going to be using some of these beads because I think, especially this week, if you're not in the US, you might not be super aware that this week is Thanksgiving here in the United States, and it can be a real hectic week. It can be a great week. It can be a stressful week. And so like there's usually an element of chaos involved and a lot of stress and a lot of planning and a lot of these other things. There's usually also a lot of family involved and some good times to have with them. And so I just wanted to, for this week, have my projects be simple and stress-free, like low stakes kind of projects, so that we can just sit down and relax and, take a beat. If you need to have like 20 minutes away from your family who you love, but sometimes you need 20 minutes away from them, um, just to sit and maybe do some beading for a while. And I'm going to pull out these black onyx beads that came in the box and these twisty beads. I haven't completely decided how I want to do these yet. We're going to do this together. I definitely think I want to use these black ladybug beads though. I think they'll look great. And I think what I want to do is like some stacking bracelets that'll kind of go together or on their own. But I'm also going to pull out this uranium glass, and these uranium glass beads are, you can't see it here because I don't have a black light, but they will glow under a black light. And they contain uranium, and they are safe to wear, by the way. Uranium glass. I looked it up because I was like, uranium glass, oh no. But the uranium isn't going to leach out of the glass because it's incorporated into the structure of the actual glass. It does give off a small amount of radiation, but it's only marginally higher than the background radiation, like that this mat gives off, that this ceramic thing gives off, that some of these other things give off. So it's, I don't think you're going to get cancer if you wear it, is what I'm saying. So, yeah, so I'm going to make some stacking bracelets, and I think I want to grab some of these Ados too, these purple Ados. We'll grab some of these and we'll just make some stretch cord bracelets. I know I want at least 2 of them that are the regular kind of stretch cord bracelets, but I also want at least one of them to be that stretch cord bracelet that I started doing in some of my other videos where it's 2 strands kind of crisscrossing and going around each other. I think that would look really cool with some of these beads. So these are the beads that we're going to start with. I'm going to add from my stash these 6/0 seed beads. And the reason for that is because the hole in most of these beads is a little bit on the small side. I don't know if you guys can see that. And the hole in the 6/0 beads is going to be a little bit bigger. And with a larger hole, I can fit a knot from the stretch cord into one of these holes better. So we're going to use them, and they'll be kind of spacers. They'll be there for the knot because I'm not going to use a bail to hide the knot like I have in other ones. I'm just going to use these 6/0 seed beads. So we're going to grab that from my stash. That's the only bead that I'm adding. Everything else came from that box. And for tools or for other materials, I'm going to be using some E6000 glue on the knot, and I've just got a piece of scrap wire here to help apply the glue to the knot so that it can get on the knot and not like everywhere when we do that. So let's get this figured out. I think with these twisty beads, I am gonna want maybe like 2 of them together because they nestle. I think maybe 2 of them on a thing with one of the uranium beads, and then we can have them scattered throughout. Or I don't know. Let me stack actually don't I use this to stack them to see how they will look together, just as my experiment. Or maybe facing away from each other. Oh, wait, there's no way for them to do that. They will all twist like that. So to have two of these like kind of saddled in with each other, and then the uranium bead, and then two more of these maybe, or maybe three. 1, 2, 3. On a stretch bracelet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then there's 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, or maybe just individual ones so that they're not. Yeah, maybe just interspersed with each of these, and then one of these for the knot. No. What if we did 3 and then a uranium bead on either side of one of these, and then 3 uranium bead, one of these, and then 3, and then a uranium bead, and then one of these, then a uranium bead, and then what if that? Because that way, let me see, 1, 2, 3, because that way I could begin it right next to one of these beads in the repeat. Actually, let me cut off a piece of wire that is about the length of my ideal size for a bracelet, so that I have a good idea how long this is going to be. I actually just ordered some rods from Louisa at Misty Moon, and the rods are supposed to help you plan out the repeats for a memory bracelet, but I can see that it would probably also really help if you are doing some of these as well. Okay, so I'm just making a little doot right there so that I can see how long this would be and see if this many repeats will work, or if I need to do more for it to fit around a wrist, because I want it to fit without there being a ton of stretching. Like a little stretch to get it over the wrist is fine, but you don't want it to be stretching while you're wearing it, because it'll break down easier, it'll break down faster. And stretch cord bracelets aren't meant to last forever, but you do want it to last like long enough to get your money's worth out of it. So they're like that. So let me see if this will fit. Or if I'm going to need to add more uranium beads. Alright, so it looks like this is not going to stretch all the way there to the end. So let's add more of these beads between them. So let's see, 2 of the twist beads. I just like the way they nestle, so I want to have them next to each other. They're spooning, that's what they're doing. If I only had one more of these, I could get it all the way there. Well, you know what? We're just going to do one of these then. Over here is what we will do. Okay, I am happy with that. That is going to be a long enough bracelet. So let's get some of our cord off of the spool. And I'm just going to pre-stretch it. And I'm going to go ahead and start stringing it from this end. And when I've got all of this on here, then I will go ahead and we'll do some knotting. Let me get this all strung up and I'll meet you back here. So I came back and talked to y'all through tying this, and then I realized that I wasn't recording. So I'm gonna tie the second one the same way so you can get like the instruction on how to do that. But this is the first one. I actually broke up one of the groups of 2 so that this would be long enough to fit on the wrist. So I ended up with 3 groups of 2, or 4 groups of 2 and 2 of 1. And I actually do like the way that this stretch bracelet looks. And I think it'll look great with the next one. So for the next one, I think I would like to use some of these purple ones, these black guys, and some more of the uranium beads. So because I am going to be using some of these 6/0s because they do actually hide the knots quite nicely, I'm going to start with that. Then I think I'm going to do a purple bead, black bead, and a purple bead.
She's not playing. Girls, don't lay on my
that.
clothes.
And then a uranium bead. Actually, yes. And then
no, stop it.
Purple,
Stop it.
black, purple, like that. And then one of these guys. And that will, I think, stack nicely with this one. So we're going to do this. This is going to be my pattern for it.
No.
Make sure
Make a mess out of them.
this will actually work. I'm going to get this stacked up, make sure it's long enough. All right, and then once I've got these on my stretch cord, then I can talk you through tying it. And then after we do this bracelet, we can do another one, because I'm just gonna keep making with these beads till we are all done making with these beads, until I run out of beads, or get tired of it, or Ellen needs me to go feed her because she's dying of starvation. You know how she is. But yeah, so this is going to be my pattern across there like that. We'll have 2 of these, and then the uranium beads between each of them. It's like kind of alternating between those, so that we can have one of these larger hold beads be on that side when we do it. But yeah, I think that'll actually do pretty nicely. So let me turn this off. Let me get this stretched out until it gets to the end. Make sure that it's going to be long enough, and get it onto some stretch cord, and then we'll go over tying it. All right, so now I have strung my pattern on. So I still have some uranium glass in there, but I've added these purple beads and these black beads. And you can check for sizing by just wrapping it around your wrist and making sure that you're not going to be pulling it too tight when it's on there. So now I have a decent amount of beads on here. So let's go ahead and cut. I've just been working from this spool, by the way, for that. So now I'm going to tie this by doing an overhand knot. And for that one, I did, which one was it? Left over right. Pull it tight-ish, but not super tight. I'm not pulling on it, I'm just making sure they meet. And then I'm going to do right over left, but I'm going to wrap it twice around because that gives me a surgeon's knot. I'm going to pull that pretty tight, and I'm going to pull from the other direction, all 4 directions, to just snug that right up. All right, so where it's at right here, I've got my little knot. I'm going to pass both ends of this through my 8/0 seed bead, because I want to use the ends to kind of pull the knot into the 8/0 seed bead after I get some glue on them. So I'm going to push both of these through here like this. See, I've got my knot right there. And I've got both of these coming out of my 8/0 seed bead. So let me grab my glue. I'm going to apply it to that knot, and I'm going to pull on this gently and pull the knot into the bead there. So where's my scrap wire? There it is. There we go, some fresh glue. I don't need a ton of it. Let's get that glue applied to both sides of that knot. I'm just giving this a little bit of a smoosh right in there. And that just snugged that knot right in to the bead. And I'm going to leave this alone for at least 24 hours for the glue to cure. But I am going to cut off the ends of the stretch cord. And that is my second bracelet. These should be able to be stacked next to each other and worn. And the next bracelets that I do should bring this a little more cohesively together, I think. All right, so this next one that I want to do is going to be more like the other type of stretch bracelet that I have done recently in the past. So for this, I'm going to pull off enough stretch cord to go 3 times around my wrist, because I am going to be twisting the cord through some of these beads so it goes through like crisscross applesauce like we've done before. I'm just pre-stretching this cord. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and then a little bit more for tying. And with this, I'm not going to be working off of the spool, but what I want to do is find the middle of this cord, and I'm going to grab a lobster clasp because I need something that can hold onto the cord but also be removable at the end so that the cord doesn't disappear into the bead that is there at the very end. And that's why I'm using a lobster clasp. I'm going to remove this at the end. It's not going to be part of the design. It's just there to help. If you have like a locking stitch mark or something, if you're a knitter or crocheter, that would also work. But because I can open this and pull it out at the end of this, that's why it's going to be there, kind of as an anchor. It's like a stop bead, basically. But it's removable because this is a solid piece of cord that we're not going to be cutting. All right, so I'm going to start this with the 8-0 that knot is going to go inside. So we're going to stick this guy right there on the bottom. That's where my knot will go. Right there in the middle of this stretch cord, but right there at the very bottom of the design. It's going to pop up until we get more beads on there, and that's fine. All right, so let's do an 8-0, a onyx bead, and an 8-0 on each strand, one on each side. Okay, like this. Now I'm going to pass through one of the ladybug beads with my cord going in each direction. So I'm going to pass through one, going in that direction. Now I'm going to pass through going in the opposite direction. Let's find out if this cord will pass through the holes on these ladybug beads twice. All right, they do not. That's fine. That's fine. Because you know what we can do? We can do these. Pretty sure they will pass through here twice, so we're going to use the uranium beads. Oh my goodness, are the only ones that it's going to be able to pass through twice these 6/0s? Is that how this is going to work? This might need to be how it works. All right. That's fine. That is fine because I can just make a lot more of these. There we go. I'm just going to repeat this until it is long enough to fit around my wrist by doing an 8/0, an onyx bead, and an 8/0, and then passing both through one of the 6/0s. I'm going to do this all the way around. Just keep going until it is long enough. So I've got both of those like that. There, it's going in the opposite direction so it crisscrosses. And keep going like this till it's long enough. And when I get to the end, I am going to show you how I tie the knot using this type of knot, and also how to hide it. So I'm going to keep going till I get to the end, and I'll meet back here. Okay, so I have this most of the way done. I just wanted to, before I did this last fit check and add the last little bit, pretty sure I'm going to need to add one more repeat, but I just wanted to show you how I know that. And I'm going to take the lobster clasp over here and the ends of my thing, and I'm just going to pass it through the lobster clasp just for the fit check, just to see if it will fit on my wrist. Because with that going through the lobster clasp, I can see if it will fit or if I would need to stretch it to fit it. And one more repeat should probably be enough that it will fit nicely without stretching while it's being worn, which is great and convenient because that's exactly how many of these onyx beads I have left after doing all of these with that. So see, it's still holding the end of my memory wire there, or not memory wire, stretch cord, so it doesn't disappear into there. And I'm just going to finish this up with one more pass of 8/0, onyx bead 8/0 on one side, and the same thing on the other side. And I am going to end it right there like that and start tying it off to the end. The way that I'm going to do that, I'm going to make sure it's not twisted, first of all. And I'm going to take this end right here, and I'm going to choose one of these strands. I'm just going to grab one of them to go through this loop in the stretch cord. This loop in the stretch cord that my lobster clasp is holding open. So it's going through the stretch cord, not through the lobster clasp, just through that there. And now that that is going through there, I can remove my lobster clasp and get that out of the way. Okay, so I've got stretch cord loop on that end. I've got this other end here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot between both of these ends right next to my stretch cord loop. So I'm going to do right over left, and then left over right the other way. But on my second pass, I'm doing 2 passes for a surgeon's knot. I'm just going to give that a good tug over there on that side. I'm going to pull on it from both of those directions. And now that I have this knot right here, sorry, it's not focusing, sorry. Now that I have this knot right here, I'm going to grab some glue, put that on there. I am still going to take the ends of my cord, pass them through my larger bead, which is this one right here. Come on, floppity. Where are you, the floppiest bead that ever flopped? There we go. One end and then the other end. And that's just so that we can have the stretch cord, the knot go into this bead when it's done. When I'm done gluing it, I need to find a place to make this go in there. It is entirely possible that that's one strand too many for this 6/0. All right, it might just be one strand too many. That's fine. I'm gonna go grab some glue, apply it to the knot. Trying to get both sides of my knot. All right. Let's pop that into there. Guess it's a good thing I had this one sticking out of that side because that just needed me to pull it this way a little bit more. If you're used to doing this with other types of beading mediums, you're used to pulling it taut, but you don't want to do that with a stretch cord. So I tried to keep it loose the whole way around. Okay, but now this one is done. And I already laid these out for one more. And I think after I do this last one, that should be enough for our stacking bracelets. I could do another one that's just the purple ones and these. That might be fun too. Maybe I'll do that. Let me do these. Make sure I can get this one strung on enough. And for this, I've got 3 of these 8/0s in a row, or sorry, 6/0s. One of these check ladybug beads, a uranium bead, and then another ladybug bead. And that's the repeat that I have all the way along here. So let me get these guys strung, and tie a knot, and then we'll see if I want to do another one or if we're just going to wrap up. Like I said, I want to do just easy, low stakes projects this week. And so this might just be enough for me right now. We'll find out. I'll see you in a minute. All right, so I actually did 4 of the 6-0s instead of 3 so that it would all fit. And now I have a stacking set of stretch cord bracelets made with the November Best Bead Box, the Treasure Edition, using the stretch cord that came in the box. Anyway, I hope you guys have some fun and easy projects, or just have a relaxing time watching this. And a happy Thanksgiving. I'm probably going to be posting tomorrow too, because I'm going to have time. We're not doing a lot for Thanksgiving, so I'm going to have time to make some stuff. But like I said, for this week, I just want some quick, easy, low stakes projects, things that are relaxing to do, and hopefully that is exactly what you guys need too. Talk to you later. Bye.